All right, welcome in. It's Hanna Time. Cornelius, Brad, Hanna, coming to you live once again. We're going to talk a lot of sports, some great stories. What a night in baseball. The Mets, what a comeback. Ninth inning. We're going to talk about that and more, and some great memories in baseball. We move on to football weekend again. Got a lot of great stories, some things to talk about what happened this week around the NFL. Also about the Arizona Cardinals. Ouch. A couple of ouches for what's happening so far this season with the Cardinals. But we're going to get to baseball, and we're going to get to a 30-second hour. Let's go to it. The countdown. You ready? Let's go. Here's my 30. See you soon. All right, welcome into Hanna Time, Global Sports Broadcasting Network. Cornelius, Brad, Hanna. Yes, sponsors are at the bottom of the screen as you're watching me here, so just take a look here and there. But we're going to talk a lot of sports. We got baseball, got some basketball news, not a lot, but definitely got the NFL, some football about that, even the WNBA. Guess who won Rookie of the Year? If you haven't heard yet, I'll let you know in a few here. But let's get right to it. The baseball playoffs. We get on to the next round. That wild card week was wild, if you want to call it the wild card week. But last night, the New York Mets down 2-0, ninth inning, got to first and third with one out, got a big home run. Mets take the lead 3-2, top of the ninth over the Milwaukee. Mets score another run. They scored 4 runs in the ninth inning. It was a classic late game heroic, and baseball must be loving that as they move into the next round. But the Mets win on a great comeback, beating the Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers came back on the night before, but the Mets pull it off. They pulled it off. And, wow, that was when you watch baseball, postseason ball, this is why you just got to love the sport. Baseball is always going to be baseball. And the Mets, the miracle Mets, that's brings it back. So now they go on to play Philadelphia, the Mets. We're going to talk more about the American League here in a minute, and the National League and the setup and the schedule about baseball. But that was a classic. And it's been a very fun so far this week watching all the baseball games. And now we move on. And who's going to take it all? They got some teams that we have not, like Kansas City. You realize that Kansas City Royals are actually in the playoffs. Wake up, people. They're a good baseball team. They're a very good baseball team. It's going to be a real tough one for the New York Yankees. But we'll get into that right now as we're going to go into the American League real quick here. That's the National League. Let's stay with the National League. Since the Mets move on to play Philadelphia, let's stay with this right here. This is all for Saturday, okay? You got Saturday ball here. The Mets are taking on Philadelphia, okay? Then it's San Diego, and their great series they had and won convincingly. They go on to play the Dodgers, their rivals. So the great thing about baseball, when you look at this, is that they're playing division rivals in the playoffs. Mets playing Philly, right? New York, Philly, wow. San Diego, LA, all right? I mean, look, that baseball must be smiling big time. You know, this wasn't a fix. This was flat out baseball, guys making the plays, and this is what baseball and MLB gets. They get a great market, too. So San Diego playing the Dodgers, which is really exciting, too. And San Diego's a good ball club. And can the Dodgers, find ways with their pitching, which has been ups and down most of the season? Okay, so the National League is set. Wow, I'm excited about baseball. Excited about what we witnessed all week with the playoffs itself. National League is set with some big names, big cities. Baseball's happy for that. Now let's jump into the American League. Let's see what they got going in there in the American League itself. Kansas City, the Royals, playing the Yankees, bringing back some old memories from way back into the 70s and into the 80s when these two teams played each other in the playoffs all the time. It seemed like they were always playing each other. And ironically, they all got to the World Series, right? But the Yankees, a team that had a great record, the best record, having their ace going on Saturday against the Royals with their best guy going out there. What is going on in this game is the Yankees look like the favorite, but Kansas City is a team, a destiny team so far, the way they've been playing. Haven't been scoring a lot of runs when they beat Baltimore. Haven't been scoring a lot, but they're real. And another team is real, Detroit, the Tigers. Look at the Tigers right there. They're playing the Cleveland. Oh, I was going to say Cleveland Indians. I just say Cleveland. Okay. But, when Cleveland, having a great year, is now taking on another team that's been rivals with them for many years, the Detroit Tigers. It's a classic. Baseball has got a great classic postseason. So far, it's gone very well. But now we have a lot of history, a lot of rivals, old rivals going up against each other. And if things play out, the American League Championship Series could have a phenomenal setup, and the National League really has something set up for them in the National League Championship Series, no matter who wins and comes out to play each other in that. And the World Series, baseball really got a good setup. Market everything. Can the games be as good as this past week and exciting? Let's pray and hope. We love baseball, and this is their time. It's October. All right, so that's your baseball one. If there was one MVP in baseball, not a National League one or American one, you would think it would be, Aaron Judge. All right. But when it comes to the Yankees and their history, and I'm going to throw it back to some of the greatest hitters of all time, Pete Rose and Derek Jeter. Now, there's a comparison. Pete Rose recently passed away a couple of days ago. It's been hard for a lot of people in baseball. Pete never getting into the major league Hall of Fame, baseball Hall of Fame. And Derek Jeter, obviously one of the greatest shortstops of all times, maybe the best. When you want to compare, look at this stat right here. Look how great Jeter was. Pete Rose played a very long time. He played when he was a manager. But at 37 years old, both players at 37 years old, look at these stats comparison. It is head to head. Jeter leads a little bit in most of the categories, but wow. But we got to give a lot of love to Pete Rose. Pete Rose loved Derek Jeter. I had a chance to work with Pete Rose back in the late 90s out of Las Vegas and did a Vegas show. And you can just talk to baseball with him, and he just loved the game so much, Pete Rose. He was a classic baseball fan. Great player, one of the greatest hitter of all time, you can say. He's the hit king, right? Passes away. A lot of people remembering a lot of great memories on the internet. You can see it all. But, you got to give your hats off to the guy, too. So, Pete Rose, you will never be forgotten, Pete. You either loved him or hate him, but he was definitely a great baseball player. And that's one thing I'll always remember. He was, he played for the Reds. He played for the Phillies. Those are the two teams that I remember winning World Series and things like that, and breaking the all-time hit record. I mean, Pete Rose, that's the guy. He's the man you're chasing. All right, we're going to move on to something that broke news Thursday night. Thursday is the Rookie of the Year for the WNBA. A lot of controversy. who should win it. The rival of two women basketball players from college. And folks, it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. And it was the most obvious decision made. Here it is. Yes, yes, yes. Caitlin Clark wins it easily, 66 votes to 1 vote. 1 vote. I don't know even how it wasn't a landslide sweep. The one person who did not vote for Caitlin Clark. Come on. What's your issue? What is your issue? Like, seriously. What were you watching this whole basketball season with the WNBA? The rookie of the year, 98.5% of the vote, which I don't know how 1 out of 67, goes to Caitlin Clark. No problem. Matter of fact, Caitlin Clark's getting MVP votes. She probably won't win it. That's okay. But as a rookie, she's going to get a lot of votes. I mean, she changed the sport for women's basketball. She elevated it. She elevated it. Without her, we're not even talking about this today at all. All right. More news around the sports world itself. When you talk about the NFL, when you talk about their connection with gambling, it's always been a no-no in sports because you don't want that too close to the game where players and coaches and things like that, even Pete Rose got involved in something that banned him from baseball, unfortunately. But here we are, a new era where you're allowed to gamble and have sports betting stuff at stadiums and things like that. But there's this intriguing question. Can you trust the games being umpired, refereed fairly, evenly? Or is this all part of the excitement to the game for ratings, for the almighty dollar, to make all the games close as possible? Because I have never seen in my lifetime, I've seen a lot of football and a lot of sports in my life, that games in football, they're always close. There are no more blowouts. Like, if you get a blowout, it's 1 out of the whole game on that Sunday or that whole weekend. Everything in the NFL comes down to the last possession or two. It's always like that. I mean, it's great for the NFL, but now when you think about the gambling stuff that just got initiated not too long ago, right? Now people say, well, this has been going on. Yeah, but can you trust the fact that gambling in sports being allowed in stadiums or in the area when it was the biggest no-no? Can you trust what's going on? Is it fixed? A lot of fans have been talking about this more and more, and they're getting very uncomfortable with it. They're not happy with it. It's mind-boggling. Now, the NFL, we're talking September football, right? The month of September, now with the preseason games that really nobody's playing, so the players, the starters, the main guys, the quarterbacks are really not going to really start playing a full game until when? Week 1 of the NFL. So there's a lot of, I would say, conditioned or unconditioned, should say, teamwork getting ready for a real NFL football game. So I believe the problem has been that. Yes, the gambling is still a big deal. On top of that, am I saying there's a fix going on? I'm not going to say anything like that. But man, is the NFL that equal? Is it really that even the Super Bowl champions who won a bunch of them in the last couple of years, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're not blowing people out. They're finding ways to win. A lot of fans feel like they're getting a lot of referee breaks. Is that part of the gambling system? Are they just creating who knows? But man, I think the fans have a right to think that way. Where you can call penalties, don't call penalties all game long, and all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, late in the game, the flags start coming out, or there's no calls for certain things to happen, to manipulate, to keep the game close before it gets blown out. Do you believe in that? Is that even possible? Yeah, I think it is. I really do. It's entertainment. Football, the game of football, the NFL, is entertainment. You're paying to be entertained by athletes, and somebody wins a game. It's entertainment. You're paying for entertainment, not only in person, TV. You got to pay for something on your TV to watch the games now, it seems like, right? Unless you, but that's what it's all about. And if they can increase the entertainment value of the game in your interest, you're going to keep paying attention to the game and get excited every week. It's called entertainment. If there's always blowouts, you're turning the TV off and walking away. So there goes the advertising. There's a lot of disconnects at that point. It kind of makes sense. Now, is there a proof? No. Maybe one day, maybe somebody speaks up, if there ever will be. There's a lot of money involved, as you know. And there's a lot of close games, no matter who you are. Even if you're getting destroyed in a game early on, all of a sudden the game gets close. What game was I watching last week? I think it was the Steeler game, 17-0. They did not look good at all. And then the game ends up being a great down-to-the-wire possession game. Like it looked like it was going to be a complete blowout from the beginning and in the end. There's a couple of games like every weekend. So when a team gets out to a 2-touchdown lead, 3-touchdown lead, it ain't over. The NFL doesn't want it to be over. And a lot of times those games get tight. Yeah, the team that had the 3-touchdown lead probably ends up winning because of the extension of the big lead it had. But man, it got close. Got a little tight. Came down to a possession. Maybe an onside kick to get the ball back, right? Like that seems like it's always the NFL. Coming down to an onside kick. They need to get the ball back to have a chance to tie or win the game. Happens all the time, it seems like. It's like almost every game in the NFL comes down to that. That's what they want. Okay, let me throw something for you right here. These are the gambling sites right now. DraftKings, you got Caesars Sportsbook, you got FanDuel. Okay, the NFL announced it. They announced the exclusive official sports betting partners. This is what they're doing. This is what they did. They're part of the NFL, the sports book. They got a 5-year deal with the NFL. These sports books. Can they control this? Is somebody going to get persuaded? Is some referee going to get persuaded like they had in the NBA before? Or are they already happening and it's been a really tight knit? So in 2021, they got a 5-year deal. It's 2024. You think it's just going to disappear? You think the NFL is just going to say, we don't want it? No, there's money, big time money. That's what it's all about, right? Is the game being fair? That's all we care about as fans. You're paying big money for it, and you want a fair deal. If your team is that good and deserves the blowout, don't screw it up, referees. That's what the fans are looking at. But then if you're a team that's not good and you're a team that's like, you got a shot. We were at the Cardinal game last week. They were getting their butts whipped. But the game was not out of reach. The Cardinals just, I think the referees were just giving the Cardinals a chance. Like, come on, like we're trying to get you a chance, but the Cardinals couldn't even get the ball down the field. Right? The Arizona Cardinals playing Washington Commanders. But there are games like that. Teams are going to get a chance somehow, and they put it together and they make it close. That's the NFL, man. It's the NFL. I mean, I'm not trying to steal credit from certain great things that happening, but the talent level is 50-50 and great and it's all balanced out, or is it something else? That's when you got sports books involved, and it has always been a no-no in the NFL and all over sports, but now they're involved. I don't know how they can influence a game, but there's money on the field, referees involved. Okay. I brought that up because it just makes it uncomfortable. And the fans know it. The fans know it. All right, let's move on here. So let's stay in the NFL. Just a couple of days ago, I want to throw it on the screen for you. How the heck does Cam Newton rip on Eli Manning? This is what he said. Eli Manning is now eligible to be in the Hall of Fame. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He beat the New England Patriots, Tom Brady. I mean, that alone gets you something, right? And Cam Newton, who lost the Super Bowl, didn't have any great numbers. He had a lot of running numbers, he was a NFL quarterback. But he says if he gets a gold jacket before me, I deserve 2 of them. He's actually saying I'm better than Eli Manning. Would you take Eli Manning, or would you take Cam Newton on your team? I would take Eli. Eli always seemed to be there in the big moments. Always seemed to have it. And yes, he had some bad years or bad games, or, he had his moments. But, Cam Newton, seriously, dude, you think that you were just outstanding? Cam, I know you're proud of yourself, and I know you have a good ego, probably, but you're proud of what you did in the NFL, and you deserve a lot of credit for what you did. You got to a Super Bowl, right? I mean, that's pretty cool stuff. But the way you are quoted as saying you deserve 2 if he gets 1, you're making it sound like you are so much better than Eli Manning. But somehow Eli Manning in the biggest games, he clearly outdid you. Clearly outdid you. I'll take Eli. I would take Eli because if he can beat the Patriots twice and win 2 Super Bowls, and you didn't win any, I think he deserves to get in before you. Where are you going to find quarterbacks? How many quarterbacks have won 2 Super Bowls? You think Eli Manning is just lucky because he won 2 Super Bowls? That's an incredible NFL statistic to win 2 Super Bowls as a quarterback. Let's see. I mean, I'm trying to think of it. Bart Starr, Terry Bradshaw, Staubach, 1, 2, right? My God, my mind's already slipping already. Eli, Peyton, right? Brady. Gosh, it's like you can go down, you can name them, and every one of them is Hall of Fame. Maybe Eli is not the big statistic one. I mean, Terry Bradshaw didn't have career statistics. He had a great second half of his career. He became an incredible passer in his last 2 Super Bowl wins. Terry wasn't the most glamorous, favorable kind of quarterback in his first 2 wins, just like Eli Manning. But Eli made plays in the biggest games in the playoffs. Terry Bradshaw in his first 2 Super Bowls, 9 and 10, it was a running team in Pittsburgh. Franco, Rocky Blyer, Franco Harris. But it was Terry Bradshaw's throwing touchdowns in the playoffs. It was Terry Bradshaw leading them into the Super Bowl against the Vikings with his throwing arm, too. It was Terry Bradshaw in Super Bowl 10 with his big passes to Lynn Swann, making the big play. And back in those days, they didn't throw the ball a whole lot. They throw 20 times a game probably. But nobody saw Terry Bradshaw as like Hall of Famer. But winning 2 Super Bowls, yeah, and then he wins 4. But what I'm trying to get to, folks, when you win at that level, at that high level, and you do it twice, and you don't do it, and you're saying like you're a much better quarterback, I'm not thinking that. And your career wasn't that outstanding in statistics. Yeah, you broke a record here, and you ran for a lot and things like that. But do not make it sound like, that's the part that bothered me. You made it sound like, hey, I'm twice as better than him. But did you win, dude? Did you win? Did you win twice? That's the question. All right, moving on. I'm going to stay in football before I get into a basketball story. Here's one for you. This is like Rex Ryan just clobbering Eagles head coach. And it's just incredible. I like Rex Ryan. Sirianni is a good coach. Got to a Super Bowl, nearly won a Super Bowl. I mean, he was that close. Things are not going well in Philadelphia. But Rex Ryan's quote, I don't understand this guy. He gets questioned about play calling and immediately blames his coordinators. I don't call out or, I don't call plays. This is what he said. This is what the head coach, Nick Sirianni did. This is his quote. I don't call plays. Well, what the hell do you do is what Rex Ryan said. You take bows when you win and you take noise, right, when you lose, right? How about you take, the loss is what he's saying. Accountability when you lose. And the head coach did not in a press conference after last weekend's loss. The Eagles are not looking good. And a team that went to a Super Bowl a couple of years ago does not even look close. But it is September, or it was September, right? And things can change. The NFL, things can change. But Rex Ryan's right. Don't throw your coaches under the boat. You take the blame. You're the leader of your team. And I do agree with Rex Ryan here. He says a lot, but as a head coach, you absorb the heat to protect your players and your coaching staff. That's what leadership is. Unless you're afraid you're going to get fired, so you start pointing fingers, which is not a good thing. Not a good thing. Things get worse. He may not last the rest of the season if it gets that bad in Philadelphia. But this, we're just starting October. We got a long way to go in the NFL. We'll see what goes on, and maybe he can ride the ship a little bit and save his career in Philly. I think he's a good coach. He's done some great things in Philadelphia. But the problem also is his quarterback is not the same quarterback, meaning not playing at a high level. And that's what got him to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. His quarterback was incredible. Had a great year. Had an MVP type of year. And he hasn't been performing that way. And that goes back to the running quarterback, the versatile quarterback. They come into the league and they're hard to tackle because they can throw the football, not all of them that well, but they can take off and get downfield, which means there's 2 things you got to worry about, and it breaks down defenses all the time. But eventually the body starts to break down. And that's what you're seeing. And there's different and there's different things coming. But it's the physicality. Even Cam Newton had the same problem. His body broke down, and he was a big dude. But when you get hit constantly, year after year in the NFL, week after week, that body is a body. I mean, it's going to start breaking down. And that quarterback, if it cannot learn to stay in the pocket, like it's happening in Philadelphia, and they have a good quarterback. He can throw the ball. He's got a lot of issues. And now the head coach, who didn't take the heat, passed it and dumped it on his coaching staff. That's bad. That's bad. All right. I was going to get into a basketball story, but let's go to Pittsburgh. Let's go talk about the Steelers. There's a quarterback situation there. I'm throwing articles out. I got this from one of the Steelers articles. Russell Wilson expected to be healthy. He's healthy to go. The Steelers held him out week 1 because he got banged up, and they wanted him to heal. And now they have the backup quarterback in there. And what do you think, folks? What do you think? Do you think the Steelers should go back to Wilson or go back to a quarterback that didn't do well in Chicago? He struggled in Chicago. Let's look at Pittsburgh right now. Are they scoring a lot of points? Is their defense keeping them in games? Yeah. Can Russell Wilson pass the ball? We have to find out. I think the Steelers need to find out, because I don't see the current situation in Pittsburgh becoming a powerful offensive weapon. They have weapons on offense. They got a great offensive line. Now, I wouldn't say go far as great, but it's very good. They got great tight ends. Teams will love their tight ends. They have an incredible wide receiver. They have good possession receivers. They got a great running attack, great running backs. They got a lot of offense, but they can't score points. It's been a problem even before the season when they dumped all their quarterbacks to change all their quarterbacks into what they have this year. And we're still seeing the same Steeler issues. Yes, they're 3-1, but they're still the same Steeler issues that they had the last few years. It's too funny. Yeah, they should have kept Rudolph. They should have kept Rudolph. Now he's in Tennessee, and he had a great game and come back and helped his team win for the first time. If Rudolph takes that team further, Steeler fans are going to be really upset. More and more. They're already complaining about it. But let's get this off the screen. Right. Russell Wilson, I believe, needs the chance to show, because the Steelers they need it. They need to see if they can advance and upgrade their offense. I don't think a lot of people agree with me on this, but I'd rather take a passing quarterback who knows how to get out of the pocket, understands the playing field, sees everything on the field. I like Russell Wilson, and he's a winner. He's a winner. I'll take that. All right. Let's stay with the Steelers, too. They have a defense that's given up the first in the league, 230 points, 229 points a game. Their scoring defense, they're averaging almost 9 points a game on defense. Okay. Rushing defense, the third in the league in that. Meaning they're only giving up 71 yards a game, giving up on the run on the field. The running attack they're just not. You're having a hard time running the ball on the Steelers. Pass defense, they're 158 yards, which is 6th in the. This is a really good football team defensively in Pittsburgh. Very good. And the media wants to go to a backup quarterback who bombed in Cleveland, that they had to trade him away, as if this guy is saving their league or season or something like that. No. It's the Steeler defense, again, keeping you in games, finding ways, and somehow managing through it. but you're missing out on blowing out teams with that kind of a defense. They have an incredible defense in Pittsburgh. All right, let's move on. This is a team I enjoyed watching a lot last season, and I'm going to enjoy a lot this season. I saw them a couple of weeks ago in Arizona against the Cardinals. They have a great quarterback. I think he is one of the best in the league. What do you think about Detroit? They had a great game last week too. Detroit is a team that's going to keep rising. They have a lot of talent. They got a prime quarterback. I think the Rams would be loving having him back, but they did win a Super Bowl without him, and but they did go to a Super Bowl with him. So pick your poison, right? But the Rams itself are looking at this guy and the Lions. The Lions are a team to beat in the NFC, folks. For what we saw 2 weeks ago and what we saw last week, they're rising. They're escalating. They are escalating. And that's what you're looking for in the NFL. You're looking to escalate. You want your team to escalate. Get out of September. Like I always say, wake me up when September ends in the NFL. Just wake me up. Because what the NFL has become is just a bunch of mosh stuff in the first 4 weeks. You just don't know what you're getting. Look at all the games. One team gets blown out, the next they blow out somebody else. Like it's all over the place. NFL doesn't care because everything's kind of even. Everybody's still alive. Everybody's still active. It's kind of like a little preseason, and everything's kind of still even. You may get a team or two still undefeated, but it's still kind of even, right? But wake me up when September ends. And then you get the Halloween. Halloween is all about trick or treat. And either your team is their treat for you or it's a trick. Like your team is not that good and you've been fooled. That's October in the NFL. And then we have what? November. And if your team is still doing well and playing ball and competing and competitive, got a shot for the playoffs or even doing better than that, they're looking like they're going to be in the playoffs at that point. It's Thanksgiving. Give thanks. Be grateful. You're doing everything. I mean, it's a beautiful time of the year. And if things go that well in December, it's Christmas. The gift to get to the playoffs, making the playoffs. And then January, yes, a little more games are being played in January in the regular season. But January we look to more as the playoff time, which is a new season, new year in the NFL. And that's how I look at the NFL every year. I look at it every year, September, October, November, and December, and in January. That's how we look at it. Makes sense to me. They play it perfectly in the NFL. They really do. All right. NFL and marijuana. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, it's allowed. It's not. This is not against the rules. It's the NFL has approved. So, but somebody caught a photo. Look at that. A bag of weed. Cleveland Browns. I don't even know who the guy is actually because I got the photograph in this little article about it. Didn't mention who it was. But this, does it crack you up that the guys are getting high or is it for their body? Ease the pain. Like, do you trust the fact that the NFL and their players could be high during a game, could have a buzz? Are they able to? Some people said they can play even better, focus even better. I would love, I'm going to take it off the screen, but marijuana in the NFL, it's there. I would love to have learn more, studies, research, players who are taking the marijuana on the field and doing stuff. Where are they 3-4 years from now? How have things developed in the research or the study about, is it working? Did it work? Is it ever going to go away? Probably not. Once it's in, right? unless there's something catastrophe happens, something really unfortunate and ugly that the NFL has to make a decision. Is that possible with marijuana use on the sidelines? Now, some fans are like, it's not about getting high. I don't believe some players are taking it to get high. But in the NFL, there are players that like to smoke and get high. Part of their little social life. I've seen it. We've had many stories about players engaging in stuff like this over the years. So now it's in our face. It's there. And now we're going to learn more about, is it affecting the game? Is it affecting the players? Are the players even playing better at a higher level because of being high? Or is it making them slouchy, focus, sleepy? What is it exactly, the exact marijuana that they're using? They're using pot. There's many different brands of this stuff now. I'm believing the NFL has a control of it. Each team has a control of the marijuana use on the sidelines for medical reasons, for conditioning, even mental reasons. I mean, we can go down the line. There's a lot to it. But when you saw it for the first time, I don't know if the fans are recognizing, just take a look on the sidelines, and it's happening. I don't know much about the monitoring of it, meaning and how much they're allowed to take, and who's watching it. Because if you go back to the photograph, there's nobody blocking that. He's holding a bag of weed. Now, you're wondering why Cleveland's having a hard time this season, the Cleveland Browns, right? I hope this is not the reason. But fans are going to speak up. They're going to talk about it. Too much weed. You're freaking high. That's what they're going to say. You're freaking high. All right. What else we got? Kansas City Chiefs. Here we go. Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs. They're defending. The head coach of the Chiefs is defending Travis Kelce as the people are questioning about his athletic ability, his focus, his game. Is he declining? Is his girlfriend a distraction? Taylor Swift. Travis Kelce got off to a very slow, not a good start of the season for him. We'll wait and see how the game or how he elevates the rest of the way. And if it continues to be a negative, there's going to be more questions about this. Kansas City needs help. They got some major injuries on their team, and Kelce is he's their dude, man. The Chiefs are still undefeated. Hasn't been pretty. Been kind of ugly. Somehow they won games. Some fans pointing their fingers at referees again. But the Kelce story is going to be watched again this weekend. And if he has a great game, then everything's going to shut up. Nobody's going to talk about it if he has a good game. And it'll be disappear. But he's got to continue it because people are going to go, if he has a bad game 2 weeks from now, then people are going to go right back to what they've been watching in September. And that's how the fans are going to look at it. So is this too much pressure? Does he care? Or this is a soap opera, maybe potential in Kansas City. Could be. Wait and see. Your girlfriend is most popular entertainer in the world. There's a lot of attention. Eyes are on you. We'll see. Do you care? Do you care? I don't. Either way, I don't care. But it's a story. Definitely a story. All right. Let me see what we got popping here. I don't want to jump into the Cardinal story yet. I got that coming here. All right. Yeah, we're going to go into the Cardinal story. This guy right here. Yeah, he's the Washington Commanders offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, who destroyed the Cardinals. His offense that he operates as an offensive coordinator with a rookie quarterback beat up on the Cardinals, beat them up. And at the stadium, he was a head coach for the Arizona Cardinals, going up against a guy that he was replaced by, in front of the owner that fired him, the fan base. Yeah, I wasn't a big Cliff Kingsbury fan, but whatever he did against the Cardinals and that offense, and they're looking good in Washington, and their offense is they got a great young quarterback who played for Arizona State and went on, there's a whole new story there that we're finding out. But the story of Louisiana Tech, LSU. It was a great return for both of them to Arizona, and they look great. But Cliff Kingsbury, what a story. I was watching that sidelines and watching him. He looked like he was the head coach, and he was pacing up and down like he did with the Cardinals, and his team just kept scoring. Now, there's issues in Arizona. I don't think they're as good as some people thought they were going to be. I think a lot of wishful thinking. Is there time to grow and get better? Sure. But I can tell you right now, let me get this off the screen. The Arizona Cardinals, size-wise, defensively, they're not a big defensive team. Physically, they're not a good. They don't have enough physicality on defense. They don't have enough size. They're not big. The NFL offensive linemen are huge today, and they had to go up against Detroit. Huge offensive linemen. Huge. If you were watching that game, then they had to go up against Washington. They had huge offensive linemen. You're looking at the Cardinals defense, and they're big guys, but there's the linebackers not that big, and they don't play physical. And just the Cardinals are learning right now. And the fans are seeing it. They're just not a physical team on defense. They got some guys that can be physical, yeah, but you need a team effort, and it starts at the offense or defensive line. And they're going up against. They've been up against some massive defensive linemen. They really have, and it's not going to get any better against San Francisco. The Cardinal fans, it's not going to. Oh boy. But we'll see if they can figure it out. But I don't think they have the talent level still on defense. They don't have the physical size to last a whole game, 60 minutes of football, where the fourth quarter, you got to be strong and able to battle through. And that's where the Cardinals they're soft in the fourth quarter on defense. They are. And I think it had a lot to do with the athletic ability, the conditioning, but they're not a strong defensive physical team. They're not. If you look at the Cardinals in the secondary, look at them at the linebacker situation, look at them when they come up to the line of scrimmage on defense, and look at the other team, from the wide receivers to the offensive linemen. They're outsized. But it starts at the line of scrimmage. And they have not it's not gone well for them against some big physical offensive linemen these last couple of weeks. And that's why they're losing. That's why it hasn't looked good. It has not looked good. Yes, they had a good time against the Rams, but look at the Rams. Look where they are. Now, I had the Rams doing very well this year because I like how they finished last season. We'll see what happens with the Cardinals. I hope I'm wrong. I root for them. They're a great underdog every year, the Cardinals. They really are. They really are. But I hope I don't know if it's going to happen right now. And I hope you just back off the head coach. I don't think he has the talent level he needs. They're working on it. They're putting pieces together. We're hopeful and wishful thinking that things can bloom this year. But I'll be surprised. For what I'm seeing so far, I know it's early, and I know it's only been through a month of September, and things are always chaotic with that. But we'll have to see how this plays out. I just don't see the talent level and the physical size of a team that can go 60 minutes against some of the big teams in the NFL. And the Cardinals have a really tough schedule. They really do. They do. So it doesn't look good. We'll see. The Cardinals also did something this season where they added more seats to the football field for the fans, but they're special seats, cushion, beautiful, but you're on the field, right? And you're behind the bench or in the back of the end zone. I took some photographs. Wanted you to see. I know you've been at the games, but not everybody's. But I don't think this is the greatest seats. I mean, I'll show you some of the photographs, but you can see there's. Well, let's start. Let's start right now. Let's go with this one right here. This is the side back of the end zone with all the. It used to be bleacher seats, end zone seats, I should say. Now it's special $30,000 plus more, placed where the Cardinal fans, or if they are Cardinal fans, luxury, suites on the field. Yes, you do see the field, and it's probably a good experience to be there, okay? But what I'm looking at, look at this. I'm looking at, see where that Cardinal sign is, the red, along the wall there, that little short wall, and look how it leads out toward the field. There's the out of bounds, the white part, okay? It's pretty good space. It's actually the same space it's been all year long. It's just that the wall is now a short little one, and that's it. It didn't change from a year ago. Okay, keep your eye on that. I'm going to make a switch to another photograph. The other end zone, the north end zone at the stadium. Okay, I'm going to switch it out. Here we go. This is the north end. You see the difference? Not a lot of room. Wide receivers trying to make running catches in the back of the end zone. There's not a lot of room there, folks. And I'm just hoping and praying and keep my fingers crossed there's nothing damaging going on, or you have a freak accident. Folks, I'm telling you right now, I think I took, I don't know, 3 steps. It's an athlete, wide receiver, or tight end, or defensive back may have 1 step before he collides with that wall. Not a lot of room in a situation. Not a lot of room. That is, and then let's go back to the other photograph. Let's go back. That's the south end, big room, same as last year, all the years here. And let's go back to this one. North end zone. That's a big difference, folks. Keep an eye on that. Hope nobody gets injured and nothing bad. Even fans that sit there, you're going to get a reckless train of athletes, football players with helmets and stuff coming flying through, and hopefully everything goes well. We haven't had a moment yet, but I'm just letting you know it's coming. I'm not putting a jinx out there, but it's got to happen because I don't know how this is. It's so small of a distance for this from the field, the out of bounds, back of the end zone to the red wall. And that's about maybe 2.5 feet. Yeah, it's like 2 feet, 3 feet-ish high. And then you're going to have an athlete, a football player, having to hurdle that, which means now he's going to try to avoid getting his knees wrapped into the wall, hurdle it. Hopefully he can land, not slip, crash into somebody or into those chairs. There's not a lot of room, folks. Not a lot of room. All right, let's get out of this photograph. Here's something else I want to look at for you. How about the sideline ones? Okay. Let's roll with this one. Okay. This is not endangering the athlete, the football player. So they're not that close to, what it does do, though, what it is speaking to me is the fans in the front row. So you see, they're Lion fans in the blue there. That was a couple of weeks ago there, right? There are Lion fans right there. Okay. Folks, these fans in that front row, they cannot see the game. They cannot see the game. They have the entire bench. I think this is the Cardinals sideline I was on. This is the entire bench of the Cardinals, and it's bodies, not only just the football players that are basically up and down that sidelines, but starting from like the 20-yard line all the way down to the other 20-yard line. You may get a little, when the ball is down the other side of the field, you get a little bit of a spotlight of the field, but the ball is down the other side of the field. So you now have to look through the Cardinals team bench with all those football players. They're all standing. You can't see the field. You cannot see the field. There's no way. And now, with the Cardinal fans, I would say this to you. Don't sit there. Don't even pay the money for that. It's not even worth it. It's not worth it. You don't even see you can't see the game. I'm watching the fans just sit there and have to, they're not looking at their phone, trying to watch the screen on the board up the top. I mean, like, what? And you're paying thousands of dollars for this seat. And you can't even see the field. And you're watching it on the big screen inside the stadium. That's how you're watching the game, that you're live and sitting there with. And I'm watching the fans in that front row, and they're just not watching the game. They're watching their phones or the big screen. They're not even engaging in. They're not even cheering. They just it's not a good experience. So there's 3 rows of it. If you look at it again, there's 3 rows. There's 3 rows. The first row is horrible. The second row, not too bad. Third row is the best run, the one up against the back of the wall there, where the stadium seating begins, really. That's it. That's it. There you have it. And they're not even full. If you look around, it's not a sold-out seating. They're still making a lot of money. They added more money. Didn't cost them a whole lot to put those seats in on the sidelines. The Cardinals didn't cost them a whole lot. If it did, I mean, they made it up already in one game, right? This season. And then they're not selling it out unless the Cardinals are this great team and it's a must-see, got to be at the game kind of thing, and then they'll probably fill them up because everybody, people want to go and the big money people will try to show up. But the front row is horrible. I mean, look at the fans. Look at the guy. He's got his head down. The the Lions fan. Got his head down. The other Lions fan, number 20. Look at the Cardinal fans in the red. They're not even watching the game, folks. And if you look at the fans that are sitting in their actual seats above them, they're watching the game. They're all, they're eyeing the eyes are on the field. But they're making money and people are paying for it. I don't know how long is it going to last? This is the other side of the back of the end zone. I thought this was nice. I know it's hard on the Cardinal fans who had the end zone seats, and there were a great section and some loyal Cardinal fans, season ticket holders who were back in there. Pretty good. That's a good experience. It's gonna have, and I understand what they did there. Got a Steeler fan in the background there. That's kind of funny. But I thought this was, for what the Cardinals are trying to do. I know it's hard for the Cardinal fans who had those season tickets in the back of the end zone there. But it's a business. Like I said, it's entertainment, and this is all they're doing. And hopefully your new seats are better, or you're happy with your new seats too. But I thought this looked good. I thought that was good. I think that's a good experience. If you're going to be part of that one day, you'll have a good time. You'll have a good time. All right, let's get this out. I'm going to move on. I want to give some love and thanks to some fans over the last weekend at the Cardinal game. I just had a good time seeing some fans, and look at these guys and ladies. Just going to pass it through, giving them love and thanks. Got these 2 on the field right before the game. Good people, good friends, Cardinal fans. Also got to pop on this one here. I enjoyed it. I enjoy seeing you guys when I'm at the games. I enjoy seeing you guys in your seats. Some of you got some great seats, by the way. Some of you guys got some great seats, but I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing you at the games, and I love talking to you during the games and connecting with you guys. Hopefully, I can try to get out to one of those tailgates out there and hang out like that too. But we'll see how this season plays along. But I enjoyed it. I enjoy seeing people out there. I love the environment of it all. It was really a good time. And the fans, it was a rough game. The Cardinal fans, they still have a good time. They still have a good time. All right, I got 2 more stories left. Just 2 more left. Let's go to basketball. Story coming out of LA, Clippers, NBA superstar. Whew. Not looking good, man. Procedure, open night, opening night, like he didn't even want to dress him up. Injuries in the NBA occur more and more, especially when you're an older athlete, a veteran athlete. But we'll find out what's going to happen in LA with the Clippers and the tradability of this situation in LA is not helping. Not helping the cause, too, because a lot of talk in LA with the Clippers trading away some of their best talent or their so-called best talent out. All right, let's move on. Let's get to this last one here. Where's the one I wanted to show you guys? It's kind of wacky. LeBron James's son. Let's see here. Where's LeBron James' son? Okay, here it is. LeBron James' son. Bronny James says, my success has nothing to do with my dad. That's what he said. He was drafted by the Lakers. A lot of people, and I can lean that way too, because your daddy was there, and your dad is basically running the Lakers, even though he's not the owner. It just seems like that. Wasn't even rated, but still got ranked. Somehow he got ranked enough to be drafted in the NBA by the Lakers, who need a lot of help. And he's not even good enough to make the team. A lot of heat coming down in LA with Bronny James. But Bronny's comment, and we got to go after it. If he's going to talk this way, then here comes the retaliation on it. Media, fans. My success has nothing to do with my dad. Number one, you're not getting drafted by the LA Lakers if your dad's not on the team. No other team in the NBA was going to draft you. Number two, your success has a lot to do with your dad. Your dad is an incredible athlete, great basketball player. Those genes were put into you at birth, or your creation as a human being. You're a James. You're Bronny James. Your dad is one of the greatest basketball players in the NBA history. And you're saying that your success has nothing to do with your dad? Did your dad help you learn the game of basketball? I mean, this. When you hear comments like this, is he just trying to steer the traffic, or is it just ego? Got to throw this out there. Got to throw it out there. I hope he can figure it out. I hope he's peaceful about communicating better with and look. It's just not a good way to start. And we'll see. Surprise us and Bronny become a great NBA player, and somehow develop into an NBA player that can stick around for a while and play the game. Don't know. We don't know. Bronny James. All right. So NFL, big weekend. We got big baseball playoffs. This is a great time. October is a great time of the year as hockey and the NBA starting to get themselves warmed up for their season. Great time of year to be a sports fan. College football, right? I think today is the first day of 55 days in a row of nonstop college football in the NFL. That's what you got. All right, let's get out of here. Gosh, I enjoyed this one. I did. All right, we'll see you. We'll be seeing you next week for sure. Right here on Hanna Time. Cornelius, Brad, Hanna. Let's get that music up. Let's pump it up. Let's get on out of here. It's a great weekend to have a good time, folks. Here on Hanna Time, Global Sports Broadcasting Network. Have a great weekend, everybody. Love always wins. Love always wins. Don't forget that.